Alright boys, this shit right here, this is the magic mystery oil. It's the unicorn blend, and I call it that because if you've got a 14 to 18, don't quote me on the years, I could be wrong, a 14 to 18 I think Ram 3500, and the parts guy was telling me some of the 1500s have the Borg-Warner transfer case, and if you were changing that fluid, there is no accepted alternative for fluids. You have to use this Mopar unicorn blend. Nothing else will do. $26 a bottle. So anyway, I'm not going to go into the how-tos of changing your transfer case fluid. I mean, it's a simple fill plug and a drain plug. Remove the drain plug and drain the fluid out. You want to pull that top one out as well. It creates a vacuum if you just do the one plug. I usually do the top first and the bottom. Drains out pretty quickly. And then you put the plug back in the bottom and fill her up with this fluid. About 1.75 quarts is what it's supposed to take, but don't try to just put ATF fluid in there or something similar, because that's what this stuff looks like. But turns out there's certain additives that are a must for these Borg-Warner transfer. What's up, guys? It's Monday. Woke up this morning about 4:30 to the phone ringing. What I done is I posted the truck available home in Parker, Arizona over the weekend, and well, when the phone rang, there was work on the line. I planned on looking from home and just trying to find something. From my house, I'm about 2 or 3 hours away from Phoenix, Vegas, San Bernardino, so I can usually find freight from the house pretty easy, but this time it found me. So yeah, this is taking me into Phoenix, and then I looked a little bit on my way in. There wasn't much. It's still early, but let's see what we get on down the road and see what this brings us. I'm all fueled up and ready to ride, so stick around. We'll see what happens. So the goal is we're going to try to get those two tanks that have been cut in half onto the truck, and possibly a third, and haul ass up to Salt Lake City. I got a feeling I ain't going to make it any further than Vegas, and if that's the case, I'll probably just head home for the night and get a start in the morning. But let's see how this goes. We've already been here about an hour now. Just like that, we're in the recycling business, boys. These three bad boys are going up to Cedar City. They told me Salt Lake City initially when I booked it, but it's only going to Cedar City, which is a couple hours closer. Plan is to get home for the night and get a fresh start in the morning. They got their own little scale house right here, so I'm already weighed. Got fuel this morning. I'm set. Get on out. Okay guys, check it out. I went and got axle weights. We did the axle weights at the scale house when I loaded the tanks on the trailer, but the scale they had didn't do the axle weights individually. We had to do it and then calculate it, and I knew we were a little close on the steer. I can only be at 6,000 pounds on the steer axle, and so I wanted to double check when I got fuel, and sure enough, we're good. 5380, I'm fine there on the steer. The drive axles, I can go to 9,750, and then the trailer axles, I'm good up to 20,000. and then we came in at 18,420. So that brings us to 32,960. The truck itself, fully loaded with all my gear and me in it, is about 19,100. So this puts us at about 13,800 pounds on the load. The guy that loaded it estimated it at about 15, so he was pretty close. I was shooting for a little under. I was hoping for a little under. The heavier you get on the load, the more accurate it has to be placed on the trailer, because otherwise that steer axle is such a low number compared to the big trucks. It's so easy to go over, so you've got to be really, really careful about load placement. Happy Taco Tuesday, guys. I got up this morning, got on the road, dark 30, and about 7 o'clock I called the shipper. The rate confirmation said to call for instructions, and I wanted to call early in case I need to make an appointment. Glad I did. First I actually looked it up on GPS, and it is way out in the middle of nowhere. And so as part of the call, you know, to get the instructions and so forth, he confirmed, yeah, we're out in the middle of nowhere. So we're heading out the middle of nowhere. Alright guys, so while I sit here waiting on this train, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up today, Tuesday. I've been on the load boards several times this morning. I haven't found anything. I was kind of cherry picking a little bit, and I forgot. I'm gonna call it a short week. Yeah, there's the end of my train. I'm gonna call it a short week this week. Got some appointments to take care of at the house on Friday, and it kind of slipped my mind that I still have an extra day. So I'm gonna go on the load boards and see what I can find for tomorrow, Wednesday. I thought today was Wednesday, I guess. I don't know, missing a day. Anyway, so I wasn't able to find anything on the load board this morning. I mean, I could have if I really wanted to leave and work my ass off and not get paid much. So I waited it out, and I waited it out, and the one load that I was counting on to get me out of here disappeared from the load board. I actually called on it. It was only going a few hundred miles. It was on my way home, but they wanted me to tarp and untarp, and I was going to spend more time tarping and untarping than I would spend driving, and it didn't pay that well. I was going to cover the fuel and my time home, but I ended up passing on it, and I waited too long. I don't know if I waited too long. I just waited and it was gone, and I don't miss it. And hung out, and then, you know, in the early parts of the day, I could have took a 400 or 500 mile run over to maybe Central California, and then found something heading back towards Phoenix on Thursday. Today's Wednesday, but I screwed off too long, and as the day got longer, the miles got longer on the loads that were posting, which would have taken me longer to get back. And like I said earlier, I got to be back on Friday, so, or really Thursday night. So I hung out here. I'm gonna hold up here again tonight. But one of the things I noticed is down here at the pool, all the activity that's been going on today. it's kind of a blessing, because over the course of the last year we've been on lockdown, and this is the most sign of life I've seen in a hotel. And God, since I've been on the road as an owner operator, so, or you know, hot shot or whatever you guys want to refer to it as, but this pool has been the center of activity all day long for the kids and the families, and it's just kind of nice to see things back to the way it was. And it takes me back to one of the earlier videos I did, when the country had me thinking that this was only going to be a 2-week deal, you know, go into lockdown for 2 weeks and everything will be fine. Well, here we are a year later, and we're starting to come back to life. So kind of a nice little scene. Thought I'd share it with you, share the thoughts that come with it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The Outlaw Nation, it's on the rise.